So yesterday we started with the workflows and the things what we have seen. Just let's have a quick revision of this all. So I asked you what exactly is the workflow. The workflow is a kind of business automation tool inside your business process. There are few of the things that we wanted to be happen automatically rather than somebody as a human being to involve in the process. There are few of the things that we could make this process as to be an automated process that based on the certain criteria, some of the events we could happen that could be occurred automatically. So basically, workflow is one of the kind of business automation tool, and there are a few more tools like Process Builder is also one of them, and then Flows is also one of them. So altogether, when we talk about in the Salesforce, there are three different kinds of business automation tool. Workflow is the oldest of them and a little bit outdated also. And the second and the quite more advanced as compared to workflow is the Process Builder. And then as compared to the Process Builder, a far more advanced tool is the Flows. So once you started with the I'm going to tell you about the workflows and the Process Builder. And when you are actually after this training, when you probably go with the Lightning, so in the Lightning interface, in the Lightning experience, you could learn the flows also. So let's now start with the same and let's continue with the workflow. So workflow is basically a kind of business automation tool, and we can automate few of the business process with the workflows. Workflow is a combination of events and actions. That means whenever an event occurred, a corresponding action is going to be fired. Based on the nature of the action, there are two different types of actions: immediate actions and the time-dependent actions. So immediate is, of course, as the name suggests, immediate is something that happens immediately. I mean, as soon as the event occurs, as soon as the event occurs, the response is expected to be happened immediately. This kind of response is called as, this kind of action is called as immediate action. The second kind of response is a periodical response. If we wanted to schedule certain things periodically, if we wanted that we should send some emails and rather we should update a field periodically based on certain criteria, that kind of response is categorized under this category in the time dependent actions. Moreover, events are, there are three different kinds of events: created, and then created and updated, created and every time it is updated or edited, whatever. And the third is same, that created and any time or rather every time it is updated, but it should have some certain condition that meeting to subsequent criteria. And if this condition satisfies, then only this thing is going to be happen, otherwise not. Now talking about the what kind of actions, what are the different operations we could achieve with the workflow. So workflow is not that much of powerful, and it's have a very limited set of operation that we could achieve with the workflows. So what you can do with the workflow is, first of all, you could send an email, then you could update a field inside any of the object, and then you can assign a new task, you can assign a task to any of the user. How to do that, everything we are going to see, apart from sending of the outbound messages, because this is something which actually requires for the integration. This is something which is being used for the integration purpose. So, and rather this is an outdated thing. So we are going to start with email alerts. Okay, now, so let's talk about few of the governor limits also. Because this is also something which is really important to understand the governor limits. So see, workflows are always created on the object. We always create the workflows on objects. What are objects? These all are the objects: standard object, custom object, whatever. Like account is an object, case is also an object, your contact lead. So we learn this. These are what? These are the objects. Some of them are standard. Some what you created. Like you created hiring manager. You also have given a position. You created the position. Also, you created the candidate, and any of the object, whatever you created. So these all comes under this custom object. So workflows, what we are going to learn, workflows are always created on the objects. Now, for an object, what is the limit? If I'm creating workflows on the account object, I created 1, I created 2, I created 3, 4, 5. So on the same object, how many workflows I could create? So maximum, you could create 500 workflows on a particular object. But that doesn't mean that all 500 are going to be in the active state. Only 50 out of that 500 is going to be in the active state. The rest 450 will be deactivated. That means, if I talk about in terms of activated workflow rules, I could say that an object could maximum have 50 active rules. An object could maximum have 50 activated rules. Although it could have 500, it could have 500, but that doesn't mean that all 500 rules are going to be activated. So it is like, it's only 50 rules are activated. Only 50 rules are activated. Otherwise, rest of the rules are deactivated. I mean, you put it in the inactive state, and whenever you want, you could active them. But you first of all make one of the rule from inactive. ये सब देख लेंगे आप. This you are going to see. Then your complete organization could have maximum have 2,000 active rules, not more than that. Now, regarding this, what does it mean by 40 immediate action, 10 time triggers? Within one time trigger, again, you can have 40 actions. So this I'm going to you to explain with the practical. When we started building this, we are going to see with this, practical. Okay, fine. Start with this. So let me go with the first workflow. So see, just read with this, let's read out once this particular use case. So we wanted to create a workflow to notify the lead person upon creating a new lead record inside the object. So it means that, let's go to the lead object, and if I press this new button, this form is going to be right. And if I enter this, if I enter this like this record number one, whatever. So, if I enter all these details, and as soon as I press the save button, so one lead record is going to be get created. And this all we know, right? So what we want over here is that whenever a new lead record is created, we wanted to send a notification email to the lead person. That means there must be some field called as email field. See over here. So whatever the email you have supplied, email ID, email address, whatever you have supplied over here, we wanted to send one email to this particular email ID as soon as a new lead record has been created. So see, now if I'm motivated towards sending of the email, I must have an email template for this. Very obviously, आप भी शायद agree हो इस चीज से कि if we wanted to send an email regarding lead, we must have an email template which actually signifies the field from the lead. That means I must have an email template for this. So as in step number one, before creating the workflow, I must check whether I have any email template for the lead object or not. If I'm having, I am going to use that. Otherwise, I need to create one, right? So इससे पहले कि मैं क्या बोलते हैं इसके पहले कि मैं send the email, I must check कि मेरे पास में कोई ऐसा email template है भी या नहीं है. And if I'm having that email template with respect to the lead object, I will use that. अगर नहीं है, so it all require me to create this, right? So let's go to the setup menu, and let's go to the communication template, and let's check out in the classic email template list. So I have looked like new candidate. This is for the candidate object, very obviously. This is for the case object for the hiring and for the position. But as you can see, in this list, I don't have any of the email template for the lead object. So what is the first requirement now? We got this prerequisite that before actually you design this workflow, you must have an email template, right? So हम क्या करते हैं कि let's first of all create an email template with regards to the lead object. Now you don't require to create it because I already have done everything, so I already have done this. So I'm having this email template. So where the subject and everything content of the email has been written out. So we just require to copy and paste it over there. So let's create a new template. Text, of course, let's keep it simple. So it is of the text type. So make it available. See, this is very essential to this is something you shouldn't forget. If you forgot this, this email template is also going to be get created, but it will not be available to use. So make sure that always make sure that you have checked this. Always make sure that you have checked this. Ensure this checkbox has been checked. Otherwise, what is going to be happen is that your email template to ban jayega, but it will not be available for you. So this is something which is very, very essential. Now let's give this template as to be the name like it's new lead creation notification template. Okay, it's new lead creation notification template. Now, as the name suggests, whenever a new lead is going to be created, we are going to put some of the notification to that particular person, right? So this is what the naming convention I used to follow, but you could, you could have your own. That's really not essential कि you follow the same thing. Now a subject, I already have the subject, so let's copy it from here. ये मैं यहाँ से copy कर लेता हूँ, यहाँ paste कर लेता हूँ. I also have created this content. Okay, thanks for showing the interest, lead वगैरह को जो भी देना है, and I have built up everything over here. So let me just copy and paste it, और जो भी necessary alignments है, because यहाँ HTML तो मैंने use नहीं किया है, and that is why manually ही सही मुझे थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे alignment अपने से करना पड़ेगा. So dear lead first name and the last name, और इसको काफी आगे ले जाते हैं कि thanks for showing interest in our product and we are pleased to inform you that your lead record has been created, and we have all this thing inside the database for the future references. So this is what we are having with us. Yeah, so ये कुछ चीजें हैं आपके, this is all we are having with us. So let's make the necessary alignments wherever it is required. So this is something which is manual when you use this format. If you use this as an HTML, so it's really help you out. So you just require to insert the tags. Okay. So yeah. Let me copy and paste it over. So I'm now ready with, okay, let me just save this so that I'm now ready with this template. So I created this template with this name, new lead creation. Now इसके पहले what we used to do is that we used to test it manually. ना आप यहाँ से manually test करते थे by pressing this button. Now the same thing I wanted to be happen automatically. This time I'm not going to press this button and test it manually. What I'm going to do is really is that I'm going to create a workflow, and workflow मैं create करके इस चीज को टेस्ट करूंगा ऑटोमेटिक. I mean I'll create a new lead record and I'm expecting that this email template, this email is going to be fired automatically. तो इस बार हम इसको मैनुअली टेस्ट नहीं करने वाले. What the thing what we require is that कि हमको एक email template चाहिए था according to the lead object with every merge fields in a lead से related, तो lead के field से related. So that is all we required and we created this. ठीक है, चलो let's now go to this. अभी workflow कैसे बनाते हैं. तो navigation I already have written, don't worry. This is the navigation, and the same thing I'm reflecting in practical. So let's go to the setup menu. And for the workflows, you need to go to create. Just expand the create and expand the workflows. Inside the workflow, you have every option. Workflows and approval करके ये इसका नाम है, and you have every option. Like you have the option to create the workflows, you have the option to create the flows, approval process, and even for the process builder and the email alerts also, and outbound message. Everything is present over here in this particular section. तो हमें फिलहाल workflow create करना है, so let's click on the workflows. ठीक है, and then if you don't want to see this message, you could click and continue. So here is the list of every workflow that we have created. It's blank, obviously, because there is no such sample workflow and we haven't created one. So let's create one rule. Click on this. So on which object we wanted this to be fired on the lead object. Okay. So from this list, select the lead. And the next, here you require to give the rule name. So what I wanted this rule to be get fired whenever a lead record. See, a new lead record is being created. So I'm mentioning this rule as workflow is a rule. So मैं इसको नाम क्या देता हूँ कि new lead creation notification rule. ठीक है, अगर मैं टेम्पलेट डिजाइन करता हूँ तो मैं उसको टेम्पलेट नाम देता हूँ. अगर मैं वर्कफ्लो डिजाइन करता हूँ तो आखिरी में रूल नाम देता हूँ. अगर मैं प्रोसेस बिल्डर डिफाइन करता हूँ तो आखिरी में प्रोसेस नाम देता हूँ. अगर मैं रिपोर्ट डिजाइन करता हूँ तो आखिरी में रिपोर्ट नाम. So this is my naming convention. You can obviously follow your or could be, you can follow the same thing also. मैं अभी क्या है कि because this is something is a workflow which is based on the lead. तो इसको मैं नाम दे रहा हूँ कि न्यू लीड क्रिएशन. As soon as a new lead record is going to be created, हमको नोटिफिकेशन देना है और ये उसका रूल है. I mean this is a work. You could copy the same in the description or keep it blank also. अब 3 इवैल्यूएशन क्राइटेरिया जो मैंने आपको कल पढ़ाए हैं, देख लो यहाँ पे दिखाई दे, created and every time it is edited, created and any time it is edited and meeting the subsequent criteria, subsequently meet the criteria. Okay. So what we want, which criteria should be used. तो आप पहले use case पढ़ो. Configure a workflow to notify the lead record upon creating. Just यहाँ पे mention है सिर्फ creating. कि as soon as a new lead record is created, I mean something is inserted, सिर्फ creating. यहाँ ऐसा नहीं बोला उसने कि create हो और अपडेट हो तब भी, तो अगर ऐसा होता तो वी कुड गो फॉर द सेकंड क्राइटेरिया, लेकिन यहाँ साफ साफ मेंशन है कि ओनली विद द क्रिएटिंग. जब कोई नया रीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट होता है, जब नया रीड रिकॉर्ड बन के सामने आता है, देन ओनली वी वांटेड दिस टू बी फायर्ड. तो इसलिए मैं यहाँ पे क्राइटेरिया जो सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ दैट इज क्रिएटेड. ठीक है, क्रिएटेड. नाउ सी, one important thing I would like to say over here is that mentioning the rule condition criteria and at least one criteria should be selected. I mean इसके बाद में ना मैं एक चीज बताता हूँ कि इसके बाद में we are going to start with the process builder, and after completing the process builder I will ask you to create the differences between workflows and processes. जैसे कि मैंने आपसे कहा था कि रिलेशनशिप डिफरेंसेस जो है, differences between this workflow, sorry, master detail and lookup relationship आप निकालो. In the same way, I'm going to give an assignment that you need to find out the differences between the workflows and the process builder. तो उसमें एक पॉइंट अपना रेज होने वाला है आगे चल के, और वो मैं अभी से आपको बता रहा हूँ. So whenever we create a workflow, जब भी हम एक workflow rule create करते हैं, we are supposed to give at least one rule condition. मैंने एक rule condition देना जरूरी है आपको. You could see it's a mandatory. The rest of the things are not mandatory, But mentioning at least one rule condition is something which is essential. बिना एक at least एक तो भी rule condition आपको देना पड़ेगा. Without this you cannot form the work. अब ये rule condition क्या होता है यार? Rule condition का मतलब होता है कि based on this your workflow is going to be fired. तो इसमें हमने क्या सिलेक्ट करना चाहिए, उसके लिए मैं आपको एक बार लीड ऑब्जेक्ट में लेके चलता हूँ. एंड हाउ टू सिलेक्ट दैट, ये टेंडेंसी आप कैसे बनाओ वो मैं आपको डेवलप करके दे रहा हूँ. देखिए, व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू ओवर हियर इज दैट हम एक ऐसा वर्कफ्लो रूल बना रहे हैं कि whenever somebody goes to this particular form, जब भी कोई व्यक्ति, जब भी कोई इंसान, जब भी कोई पर्सन एक नया लीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट करना चाहता है तो वो इस फॉर्म पे आएगा. ऑफ कोर्स ही विल कम टू दिस फॉर्म and here going to enter some the details over here. Now see email field, if you closely observe your email field is not a mandatory field. Email is not at all a mandatory field. So see, if I am creating a new lead record, I am supposed to enter the last name as well as company because these two things are mandatory. I could see that. मुझे साफ नजर आ रहा है कि यहाँ पर अगर मैं लास्ट नेम का वैल्यू ना दूं, कंपनी का वैल्यू ना दूं, and if I try to save this record, this is going to give me the error. See, what is the error comes out to be? See, you must enter the value over here and over here. But then it is not, it is not saying me that you must enter the value in the email also, because email is not a mandatory field. और आपने क्या रूल बनाया है, you are going to create one of the rule. आप एक रूल बना रहे हो, एक वर्कफ्लो रूल बना रहे हो कि when someone tries to enter this record over here, we should send an email alert. We should send an email alert on this particular email ID. अब देखिए, अगर ऐसा हो, मान के चलिए कि even without entering the email, someone could save the record. We know this. Why? This because this is not a mandatory field. और बिना email ID डाले अगर किसी ने रिकॉर्ड को सेव कर लिया, then also our rule is going to fire, क्योंकि वर्कफ्लो तो वैसे ही काम करेगा जैसा आपने बनाया है. और आपने कुछ ऐसा बनाया कि whenever a new lead record is being created, fire one email. लेकिन जब email ID है ही नहीं तो रूल कहाँ फायर? This is something called as null pointer exception. It will generate an exception over here. कि rule तो fire होगा, and it will attempt to send the email also. But this is going to be, ये क्या बोलते हैं आप, मतलब आपने एक तीर चलाया और वो कहीं नहीं जाके लगा, मतलब something you have waste a resource, आपने एक रिसोर्स को वेस्ट कर दिया. If I tell you this, governor limit के बारे में अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ, you could send maximum 5,000 email in 20, not 5,000, yeah, it's not 5,000, it's 2,500. Unlimited edition. Let me check out this. Probably it's 2,500 otherwise. लेट मी चेक आउट दिस, थोड़ा सा मैं कंफ्यूज हो रहा हूँ इसमें, बट क्या इन केस ऑफ योर, ये तो अनलिमिटेड एडिशन है, बट व्हाट यू आर यूजिंग इज फ्री डेवलपर अकाउंट एंड वी कुड मैक्सिमम सेट 300, दैट इज सर्टेनली फॉर श्योर। थोड़ा सा अनलिमिटेड एडिशन का मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हुआ, लेट मी सी विद दिस, ये कैपेसिटी में बाद में बता। चलिए, तो हम जो यूज कर रहे हैं दैट इज फ्री डेवलपर एडिशन, वी कुड मैक्सिमम सेंड 300 ईमेल नोटिफिकेशंस। ओके, अब मान के चलिए कि यू विदाउट चेकिंग दिस ईमेल कि यार ईमेल आईडी डाला कि नहीं डाला, एंड यू हैव फायर्ड वन ऑफ द वर्कफ्लो, तो एक नोटिफिकेशन आपका वेस्ट होता है। यू आस्क मी सर, ये तो ऐसा चलता है, मतलब एक आध वेस्ट हो गया तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, वी हैव 300 की कैपेसिटी है अपने पास में। नो, दिस इज नॉट अलाउड इन द आईटी, यू कैन नॉट वेस्ट द रिसोर्सेज ऑन नल पॉइंटर, यू नो। आप ऐसी ऑटोमेशंस नहीं बना सकते, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू फायर सिंगल ईमेल इन द आईटी, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी हैपन इन द, ये सब जो है ना, दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी हैपन इन द लूप में चलता है ये। सो एवरी टाइम विदाउट इवन चेकिंग दिस कि ईमेल डाला है कि नहीं, एंड यू आर फायरिंग एन ईमेल, दिस इज अ नल पॉइंटर अटेम्प्ट, दिस इज समथिंग यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग एंड यू आर डूइंग नथिंग, है ना। आपका रूल फायर हो रहा है एंड इट्स रियली डूइंग नथिंग, तो इसलिए यू मस्ट चेक, आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा बिफोर सेंडिंग द ईमेल, बिफोर फायरिंग द वर्कफ्लो, एंड बिफोर अटेम्प्टिंग टू सेंड द ईमेल थ्रू द वर्कफ्लो, यू मस्ट चेक कि भैया ईमेल आईडी है या नहीं, दिस फील्ड शुड नॉट ब्लैंक, ये ब्लैंक नहीं होना चाहिए, एंड दिस इज व्हाई व्हाट वी डू विद द रूल क्राइटेरियाज। so this rule criteria will see कि अगर ये true होता है, if this rule is true, then only your workflow will going to be fired. So what I'm going to check over here is that, see lead की सारी fields आ रही हैं यहाँ पे, जिसमें से मैंने email select किया, I don't want this not equals to keep it blank, keep it blank. So what I'm checking over here is that कि if lead is not equals to blank, if the field lead में जो email ID, if it is not equals to blank, मैंने it must have some value, और वैसे भी वो ईमेल है उसका टाइप, वहां पे आप ईमेल ही एंटर कर सकते हो, यू कैन नॉट एंटर एबीसी। अगर आप इफ यू शॉर्ट में सर यहाँ कुछ भी डाल दिया तो भी चलता है क्या, ऐसा कुछ डाल दिया तो चलता है क्या? ओके, ट्राई विद दिस, ट्राई विद दिस, यू नो, इफ यू ट्राई टू सेव दिस, सी व्हाट हैपेंस। अब क्या हुआ, it invalid email address, because see the data type is email, that means it will ask you to enter the email format में। अब वो wrong email id तो वहां तक मत जाओ, वो आप अपने आप को बेवकूफ बना रहे हो, ठीक है। so that is something you are making mistake to yourself, wrong data क्यों कौन एंटर करेगा यहाँ पे ना, इट मस्ट हैव एन ईमेल, तो ये फील्ड ब्लैंक नहीं होना चाहिए, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेटिंग एज अ रूल कंडीशन, कि अगर ये फील्ड नॉट इक्वल्स टू ब्लैंक है, लीड के अंदर जो ईमेल नाम की फील्ड है, इफ इट इज नॉट इक्वल्स टू ब्लैंक, देन ओनली फायर दिस, देन ओनली फायर दिस, मतलब अगर ये ब्लैंक है तो क्या, वर्कफ्लो फायर नहीं, वर्कफ्लो विल नॉट गोइंग टू फायर एंड इट विल नॉट अटेम्प्ट टू सेंड द, ना तो वर्कफ्लो फायर होगा, ना ही ईमेल सेंड करेगा वो, ना ही वो अटेम्प्ट करेगा, that means we are not wasting our resources. And in the workflow, selecting one rule condition is essential. Okay, at least one rule condition, it must have a one rule condition. Process builder में ऐसा नहीं है, even without any of the rule condition you could fire the process, ठीक है। तो ये एक process builder में something, this is a little bit advancement is there. तो process builder में actually आप देखने वाले हो कि without even selecting a criteria you could fire a process builder. Okay, चलो देखते हैं आगे। So I'm saving this, save and next. So let's come to the next page of this. Now here you wanted to add the actions. So actions, there are two categories, immediate and time dependent. Yesterday we have discussed. Now what you wanted to be, अब इन दोनों में से कौन सा आपको चाहिए ना, what you wanted to apply over here. आप इमीडिएटली वर्कफ्लो फायर करना चाहते हो, या फिर आज अगर आज लीड ऑब्जेक्ट में किसी ने एंटर किया तो वो कल जाना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं है। व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ दिस काइंड ऑफ ऑपरेशन, अभी यहाँ जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ये कॉन्फ़िगर वर्क, आप खुद सोचो कि इसका नेचर क्या है। जैसे ही लीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट होता है वैसे ही ईमेल जाना चाहिए, या उसके 15 दिन बाद ईमेल, अरे आपका लीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट हो, तो बोलेगा तुम कितने स्लो हो यार, वो तो मैंने 15 दिन पहले ही लीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट किया था। सो वी वांटेड दिस टू बी हैपन इमीडिएटली, एंड सो आई एम गोइंग विद दिस क्राइटेरिया, यू नो, आई एम गोइंग विद दिस एक्शन। व्हाट एक्शन, इमीडिएट एक्शन, इमीडिएट एक्शन जा रहा हूं मैं ना, इमीडिएट एक्शन में आप जो है वर्कफ्लो का एक्शन ऐड करो। तो व्हाट यू कैन डू, यू कैन असाइन अ न्यू टास्क, you can send the emails, you can update a field, or you can send the outbound messages, or whatever you have done in the past, you can select the existing action also. Existing matlab in चारों में से, these are the 4 different types of operation that we could attempt, you know, with the workflows. So अभी हमारे हिसाब से what we wanted an email to be get fired, so sending an email alert, I'm selecting this description, ठीक है, give any description. So what is my new lead न्यू लीड क्रिएशन नोटिफिकेशन अलर्ट. I follow the same convention everywhere. What object? On the lead object. It will ask you for the email template. इसीलिए हमने सबसे पहले email template बनाई यहाँ पे, that is why we created one of the email template, because it will ask to कौन सा email select करना है वो, उसके लिए हमने पहले email template बनाई, and we have stored it inside the skyline. New lead creation notification. ठीक है, new lead creation notification. So this is what we have created, right? ये email template मैं यहाँ पे select कर रहा हूँ. I'm selecting this email template. It is inside this folder. New lead creation notification template. अब यहाँ से क्या सिलेक्ट करना हूँ, ये सबको टिपिकल लगता है यहाँ पे, बट आई एम गोइंग टू गिव दिस वेरी इजी वे से मैं समझाता हूँ, डोंट वरी. ये जो लिस्ट होती है यहाँ से आपको ईमेल फील्ड जो है, ईमेल फील्ड इसको सिलेक्ट करना होता है. सो व्हाट इट इज गोइंग टू गिव इज दैट कि जब आप ईमेल फील्ड सिलेक्ट करते हो तो लीड ऑब्जेक्ट के अंदर जितनी भी ऐसी फील्ड जिसका डेटा टाइप है ईमेल, वो यहाँ लिस्ट आउट करता है. तो आपको इस लिस्ट में से, जैसे इनिशियली इट वाज लाइक यूजर था यहाँ पे, व्हाट यू नीड टू सिलेक्ट ओवर हियर इज दैट आप ईमेल फील्ड सिलेक्ट करो यहाँ से, और इस ईमेल फील्ड को सिलेक्ट करके ऐड कर लो, दैट्स इट. ठीक है. नाउ दिस ईमेल, जब यहाँ पर जो मैं एक नया लीड रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट करूंगा बाय प्रेसिंग दिस न्यू बटन, तो along with this email ID, along with this email ID, I could send this to 5 more people. तो वो 5 लोगों की ईमेल आईडी आप जिसको भी सीसी में रखना चाहते हो, उसकी ईमेल आईडी आप यहाँ पुट अप करते हो. सो यू गाइस डू वन थिंग, चैट बोर्ड के ऊपर में आप लोग में से कोई भी 5 लोग अपना ईमेल आईडी दो. 5 लोग अपनी ईमेल आईडी दीजिए मुझको. ओके, अक्षय सोहेल, 3 आगे 4 आगे, यस दैट्स इट, हो गया काफी. So I have Akshay, the next is like Sohail, and then Divya, then Shubham. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. I could send it to one more. 4 email ID, 4 email IDs. Yeah, Rajwal is there. Okay. So what is going to be happen right now is that कि जब ये workflow में create करूँगा, तो along with this email ID जो मैं यहाँ पे डालूँगा at the time of creation of this new lead record, these are the 5 people those who are also going to get this email. ठीक है, चलो. So let me save this and okay, ठीक है, हो गया. Now done. So once you have created it, immediate के अंदर आपने क्या किया है कि you have added this action. ठीक है. हाँ, अब यहाँ पर एक गवर्नर लिमिट के बारे में मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. A workflow can have maximum 40 immediate actions. ठीक है, इसके बारे में मैं डिस्कस करता हूँ. देखो, inside the immediate actions you added one. आपने एक एक्शन ऐड किया. कौन सा एक्शन? ये वाला, ईमेल अलर्ट. Now you have this option वो है ना, आप एक और ऐड कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. You have this option. तो आप अभी जैसे यहाँ पे ये बटन आपको नजर आ रहा है, मतलब दैट मीन्स कि एक आपने ऐड कर दिया है, एक ईमेल एक्शन आपने एक एक्शन ऐड किया है, ईमेल अलर्ट. यू कुड ऐड वन मोर. आप ईमेल, नया टास्क, आउटबाउंड, कुछ भी एक और ऐड कर सकते हैं, और एक ऐड कर सकते हैं, और एक. हाउ मेनी मैक्सिमम एक्शन दैट यू कुड ऐड इट इनसाइड द इमीडिएट कैटेगरी, दैट इज 40. तो एक वर्कफ्लो में वी कुड ऐड मैक्सिमम 40 इमीडिएट एक्शंस. 40 इमीडिएट एक्शंस ऑफ एवरी टाइप, न्यू टास्क, ईमेल, फील्ड अपडेट, आउटबाउंड, एवरीथिंग, है ना. इसके बाद में मैं चाहूँ तो एक न्यू टास्क, आई कुड ऐड समथिंग, है ना, ऐसा. समझ रहे हैं आप लोग, ऐसा ही. दिस आई कुड ऐड इट, तो ये मैं ऐड कर सकता हूँ वर्कफ्लोज में. सेम थिंग. तो अभी जैसे कि हमने एक ही ऐड एक्शन किया, एक ही एक्शन हमने ऐड किया यहाँ पे, एंड दैट इज दिस एक्शन. ओके, नाउ सी, एज सून एज यू सेव इट, अब जब आप उसको सेव करते हो तो इट इज एक्चुअली नॉट बीइंग एक्टिवेटेड. वर्कफ्लोज अपने आप एक्टिवेट नहीं होता, नॉट इवन प्रोसेस बिल्डर. देयर इज अ बटन फॉर दैट. वर्कफ्लो में भी होता है, प्रोसेस बिल्डर में भी होता है. कि आप रूल तो क्रिएट कर सकते हो, है ना, आप रूल तो क्रिएट कर सकते हो. 500 मैक्सिमम रूल आप क्रिएट कर सकते हो ऑन अ सिंगल ऑब्जेक्ट. बट किसको एक्टिवेट करना है वो आपके हाथ में होता है, एंड यू कुड मैक्सिमम एक्टिवेटेड ओनली 50 रूल्स. ठीक है. तो अभी जैसे रूल तो क्रिएट हो गया मेरा, इट इज नॉट एक्टिवेटेड, यू सी इट इज नॉट एक्टिवेटेड. तो उसको एक्टिवेट करने के लिए एक बटन होता है यहाँ पे, जस्ट मेक इट एक्टिव. अब जब आप इसको एक्टिवेट कर लो तो अब ये रूल एक्टिवेट हो गया. अब ये रूल एक्टिवेट हो गया तो ये बैकएंड में फायर होगा. कब फायर होगा? व्हेनेवर अ न्यू लीड रिकॉर्ड इज गोइंग टू बी क्रिएटेड. ठीक है, चलो. तो मैं अपनी ईमेल आईडी ओपन कर लेता हूँ जिसपे मैं इस रूल को फायर करने वाला हूँ. ठीक है. So let me refresh this page and let's create a new lead record. First name is Asim, last name is Ali. Company is ABC, and then software development. Lead source is phone inquiry. Campaign probably is not required, so let us record this. Industry is manufacturing, annual revenue is 10 lakh. Phone is this, fax is this, mobile app, this is for fax. Email, here I need to give the actual email ID because, yeah, because the email, because it's actually going to fire the email. So, but this rating is warm and number of employees is this much. And with this is the product which for the inquiry, anything whatever you want, you pay it. So with this all details, अभी as soon as I save this, देखो अब क्या होगा कि as soon as I save this, मैं जैसे इसको save करूँगा, first thing is first impression, one lead record is going to be get created, first thing. और जैसे ही नया lead record create होगा, backend पे एक workflow rule fire होगा, and that is going to send one email, एक email मुझको इस पे आएगा, along with me those 4, 5, 5 लोग जिन्होंने अपनी email ID है, को भी email आने वाला, ठीक है? So this is going to be get happen automatically. ये अपने आप होने वाला. You see this. I save this. So if I save this, one lead record is created. See, एक lead record जो है वो बन के तैयार है. And एक email भी आ गया है. I could see one email has been received. So this with all these details, one lead record is created. और जैसे ही नया lead record create होता है, workflow fire हुआ, workflow has supplied this. ये पहले अपन manually करते थे. Send, test and verify, merge field. ये बटन को प्रेस करके. Now this happens automatically. And this is called as business automation process. I hope everybody is now clear with this. तो ये अभी ये वही template है. ये template check करना is not at all important. What you have seen over here is that you just have created a lead record and you और वो 5 लोग देखो यहाँ पे ना everybody's email ID over here. ये दिख रहा है यहाँ पे ये 5 लोग. इन सबको ये नहीं. These all are the 5 people those who have given me the email ID. And it is supplied to you guys also. आप लोगों को भी email आ चुका है यहाँ तक, right? Every one of you अगर आपको इंटरनेट ऑन है तो आप लोगों को भी ईमेल आ चुका है. And say this कि ये अपने आप हुआ. This is something which has happened automatically, immediately, as soon as you created a lead record. So this is what a workflow can do, right? This is what a workflow can do. Okay. Now I have few assignments for you guys. You need to go with these assignments. Configure a workflow on the contact object to notify the contact person upon creating a new lead record. Then I have contact person, उसके बाद में फिर दूसरा कुछ है for the case object and for this for the hiring manager. So go with this, try to solve this. Let me start with the next concept. ना आज इतना ही करो, एक दिन में एक ही करो. I can take this, but I don't think this is appropriate for taking this because it's going to take time. Moreover, एक दिन में एक ही पढ़ो आप, एक दिन में एक ही करो at least, वही सही रहेगा. By tomorrow I'm going to start with this time dependent action. एक दिन में एक ही करो, get it slowly in a small quantum of doses because here it is not essential me to cover the syllabus. You are not going to give the exam, rather you are going to face the interview. So for that you should have a thorough knowledge. So it's really important to understand everything in a small quantum of doses. एक ही बार में पूरा ही आपको घोट के पिला दूं, that is not the tendency. So I think this much is sufficient for today, and you guys can go and try with this first of all, and you have everything, and go with this. Our contact object पे एक notification. So first of all, check whether we have created any that email template for the contact or not. अगर contact के लिए email template है तो अच्छी बात है. अगर नहीं है तो आपको create करना पड़ेगा. Remember this. So new, no, you don't have this. Okay. So for the contact object, you even don't have any email template. तो ये पहला solve करने से पहले the first thing is that you need to create an email template. तो obviously ये एक अच्छा example हुआ because यहाँ पर आपको दो चीजें करनी है. पहली आपको एक template बनानी है, ठीक है, with the merge fields and everything, and then second step you need to use that inside the workflows. Okay. Second is about case object. Let me see. We have this new case notification. तो ये आप यहाँ use कर लोगे. In the second example, you probably don't require to create a template. For the third, it's like hiring manager. Let me see. For the hiring manager also I have created. Yeah. So इन तीनों एग्जांपल्स में से दो के लिए तो अगर आपने उस वे से बनाया होगा जैसा मैंने बनाया है और हर वो टेम्पलेट क्रिएट की होगी, तो you will have template for hiring manager and for the case, but then you don't have anything for the contact. ही आपको create करना पड़ेगा. So just attempt this all. I think this much is sufficient for me. We will plan next thing, the time dependent action by tomorrow. Let me stop the recording first.